And I used to regret it because I used to feel like, yo, I was rapping before Cardi. I was outside. Cardi was dancing at my parties. You get what I'm saying? It makes me realize, like, wow, if I didn't take that 6-year hiatus, what could have happened? Mm-hmm. I had the support. I had the same networks as her, the same support system, same circles. And it makes me realize, like, you know, Lish the Rockstar had to die for Lish 2X to really flourish.
Welcome to Valid with an Accent.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Thank you for willing to, share your story and talk about life as Lish 2 times.
2 times?
Yes. I've been curious. Where did the name come from?
Girl, y'all gotta watch, like, I have like 50 interviews where I tell people, like, so it kind of goes two ways, right? My name was actually Lish 2X, but when DJ Superstar J hosted my first mixtape, the whole mixtape, he go Lish 2 times. And I was like, people started saying that, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm Lish 2 times now. Like, forget Lish 2X, who the hell? No, I don't get it. But, so it was one of them situations that kind of was an accident that I kind of just ran with. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're back in New York, you're in the studio, working on an EP.
Yeah.
I know one of, like, your greatest projects, well, for me, I'm saying one of your greatest projects is because being a Muslim woman in the industry is just so defining, you know? Mm-hmm. It has to be very different. Like, being a woman in the industry alone is just like, okay, what else? What else do I have to go through? What else do I got to deal with? You have the first and only Ramadan album.
And so...
Tell me about how your experiences of Ramadan being in the industry, for example, and what inspired the album.
So, first of all, Ramadan is challenging because I feel like the world is against us. Like, Cardi came to Dallas during Ramadan. You know I couldn't come outside. Like, why you do the Little Miss Drama tour in the height of Ramadan? Like, that really hurt my feelings because I got invited to go party with them afterwards. But, like, I was, like, my man was going to judge me heavily, and I have to be a good example for my offspring. So, whatever. So, it's hard because you are constantly fighting battles between your career ambitions, your network, and all of these different things versus your spiritual grounding and your faith, right? But Ramadan also reminds me that I'm in a lane by myself and I really don't need validation from outside sources. So rather, it would have been cool to, like, party with Cardi. Would it be cool to, like, rekindle certain relationships? Absolutely. I'm big party gang, feel me? Yeah. But I did fly into New York to go to Madison Square Garden.
I know that's right.
After Ramadan, feel me? But the reality is I don't need any of that. I'm in a lane by my entire self. I don't need, and it's so funny because I was at another event, like, just the other day, big rap group, they released an album. I was just there, and it made me realize, like, how I really have unless I want to get an interview, unless I want to do something on my media wave for my blog, I really don't have to be around none of this anymore. I feel like I've already, like, paid my dues. Everybody in the room, for the most part, they know who I am. I don't need to rub shoulders anymore. Now I just need to produce. So being a Muslim artist, sometimes the expectations that come with other women to be over-sexualized and stuff like that, they already know my stance. In fact, they flee certain conversations with me because they don't really want me to really get talking.
Mm-hmm. I know that's right.
So it's kind of like one of those things that at one point I used to think was like a hindrance. Like, I used to regret, like, yo, oh my God, like, K-Slay used to have me on the radio every day. I just cold turkey went inside, put on a whole hijab, and just said, I'm getting back on my deen. You know what I mean? And I used to regret it because I used to feel like, yo, I was rapping before Cardi. I was outside. Cardi was dancing at my parties. You get what I'm saying? But she was always that girl. You know what I mean? She was always, like, funny and viral. But it makes me realize, like, wow, if I didn't take that 6-year hiatus, what could have happened? Mm-hmm. I had the support. I had the same networks as her, the same support system, same circles. And it makes me realize, like, Lish the Rockstar had to die for Lish 2X to really flourish and to be this version of me, because who knows what I would have went through if I would have entered the industry at a high level as that girl. Who would have known? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many stories about what happened with the Diddy stuff, the R. Kelly's, and and these are all people who I've been in rooms with as Lish the Rockstar. You know what I mean? Like, so who's to say what could have happened to me? I I'm not a drug person, but who's to say what I could have got exposed to?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember being in the studios at that time period. Like, I would be in D.C. with, like, Fat Trell in them. And they would have, like, mad cocaine, weed, pills. And I was like, this is what y'all do? It was crazy. And it was the first time I ever was exposed to that. You know, I was raised super strict, you know. So I never was exposed to certain things. So I always think to myself, like, imagine being around that all the time. You think you would have still held your ground and say, nah, I don't partake? You think you still, like, I've never been a drinker. But do I think I would have been this version of myself? I probably wouldn't even still be skinny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who knows what would have happened? So being a Muslim artist, I feel like I'm finally in a place where I've matured into accepting my limitations, standing firm on what it is I will and will not do, who I am, what my brand is. And even though I'm not perfect, and I'm not a perfect reflection of that, I think that it really just puts me in not even a different lane, on my own freeway.
And just because it's limitations in a way, of course, it doesn't mean that it's holding you back by any means. Because you are paving your own path, and you are showing other women like you or similar to you that it's still possible, and this is how you get it done, you know?
Mm-hmm. And also, people fail to realize is that there's no compulsion in Islam. Anything that I do as a Muslim woman, I choose to do. You know, it's nothing that tells me that I have to cover my hair. It's said that you should. There's nothing that says that I have to, you know, be modest and dress. It says that I should. So that, you know what I mean? Like, so if we want to start taking, you know, I know a lot of people fall victim to believing the Islamic rhetoric of culture and what's in the news and the media. But that's not Islam. Islam says that there's no compulsion in Islam. In fact, the only beast on the planet that have free will is human beings. You know what I mean? So it's not a limitation. Everything's within my own good free will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And talking about like modesty and the way you dress, you still put that shit on. I love that about you. Whether it's, you know, on your blog, whether it's your music videos, whether it's just you on an everyday basis, because I haven't seen you outside once where you wasn't fly.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, and what is fly is relative. You know what I mean? Like, there was a point in time where even that was weird to me, because I always felt like, dang, every time I show up somewhere, I feel like I'm always overdressed. Like, it used to give me anxiety, because even though as an artist, you're supposed to be super flamboyant and in your face, and, you know, you gravitate and you want to be the center of attention. But I'm, like, naturally, like, timid. You know what I mean? I'm naturally, like, I do want to fall back. I do want to kind of, like, just chill in the corner sometimes, right? But I've had, like, PR that I worked with tell me, like, no, you need to be center forward. Like, you already stand out. Be center forward. You know what I mean? So I'll be like, dang, it sucks that I walk in a room and it's like, you can't miss me. Because, like, who's that girl with the long skirt on or the long dress on? Or, like, what is going on with all these layers? Like, but to me, it's like, it's fly. And now you see people wearing baggy clothes, a lot of layers, and, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you really put that on. Putting on, you know, scraps is not fashion, respectfully. Anybody could be half naked. Having your body, in fact, it takes away from, actually, you know what I mean? If you want to wear a mini dress, but wear some pantyhose. Putting a little scarf around you, like, things add to the layers of that outfit. A lot of people, when they get dressed, you know, they're lazy with it. They think that the dress is supposed to stand alone, and it's not. So I think that's another thing that I believe that Islam also kind of helps with, as far as, like, you know, even though, like, I push the envelope a little bit sometimes, but I think that it definitely helps. Modesty helps remind you of what fashion really is, because fashion really is modest. If you look at, like, fashion, if you go to the Hamptons and how those people dress, they may have a little something showing here and there, but it's layers. It's fly. You go to Paris, like, they're not just walking around parading with shorts, tank top, flip-flops, done. It's never going to give that.
Right. And it's like a level of maturity that goes into it to know that, okay, I don't have to go out and wear nothing just because I'm going to the club. Like,
or if you're going to be sexy, do it, but do it fly. Feel me? And it's not even maturity all the time, because to me, it shows class. Like, it shows that and I hate to sound like this, but lower class people think that way. Upper class people, from teenagers, you know, I was a big Gossip Girl. If you ever watch Gossip Girl, Blair Waldorf was dressing like with no shade, but lower class people would think is a contemporary woman, a woman that's
Yeah.
like 40. You know what I mean? I know you're from the hood by the way you dress and what you think is fly and sexy. I know that you got some shmonyan by your modesty. Yeah, your skirt may be short, but you got on proper pantyhose, proper foundation. You have a slip on underneath your dress because you care about the tailoring and how it fits and how it looks. That is class. It's not has nothing to do with even maturity. And I think that unfortunately people of the lower class, their mindset of what they think is fly and what they publicize is just very different.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
usually people pretending on trying to be somebody they are not, and it's just coming across the wrong way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be authentically yourself. Otherwise, you know, no matter what it entails, it's just gonna come up the wrong way and give that perception to others.
Because flashy became a thing in like hip hop culture. It's cool to be flashy. It's cool to be sexy. Rap videos made shaking your behind, and all of that's cool. Time and place.
Yeah.
Knowing when to turn that off.
Yeah, and
You
it
know
doesn't
what I mean?
always have to be on camera.
It doesn't always have to be
saying?
on camera.
Like-
Feel me? If you look at some of the most expensive jewelry pieces, they're actually quite dainty. You know, Van Cleef, like they have very dainty charms and
Fine
stuff,
jewelry.
fine jewelry, but it's very pricey. It's the same price as some people with the blinged out necklaces. You know what I mean? So it's just more of a understanding of what refinement is and what it is to really put that thing on. It's not about being gaudy all the time.
Yeah. How do you merge when it comes to your music and your sense of music and your sense of fashion, right? Because again, what I was getting to earlier, when it comes to your music videos, right? It's always so put together. It's a perfect representation of you, right?
Thank you.
How would you define yourself and your craft to people from the outside looking in?
I think that when I dropped this project, I'm still debating if I'm going to call this EP Cover Girl Reloaded or if I'm going to call it, you know, Cover Girl 2. I don't really know, but I know I'm going to do that because one of the opening song of the project is called Covered Girl. And I think the opening bar says it best, like, I don't mean to blow my own horn, but I'm smoking hot. And I am smoking hot, and being hot doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be over-sexualized, right? And to go into your question, the Ramadan album was a project that was meant to be thought-provoking and spiritually grounded, but it's not necessarily all that I am, right? I like to have fun. I turn up like the next person, and just because I have a consciousness and I want to bring people down to earth sometimes and to tap in with spiritual and sentimental values and things like that, that it was a project. You know what I mean? But what people are going to get from like the EP and the album, because I'm recording for both simultaneously, it's completely different. I'm on like I'm talking fashion. I'm on my fly girl swag. And yes, I'm going to throw in there like, yeah, I'm always had that hijab swag. I'm going to always rep for the cover girls and the girls who, you know, don't do the most but still doing a lot. You feel me? Like, I'm always going to represent that in my music. But I think more so it's about just showing that you can really be lit without all the vulgarity. You know what I mean? Like, I don't curse in my music. I do censor a lot of the things that I want to say because I do think that there's like a social responsibility. I feel like you should be able to ride in a car with your children and still bump my stuff and still feel like you that baddest thing on the highway. You know what I mean? Like, I still want to give that. But I also want to give, like, I don't want to talk bad about men. I don't want to talk bad about other women, although I do check a few, you know, things. I think that that's what music is. It's a balance of being competitive without necessarily having to be degrading. It's about popping your stuff, and I openly speak about the fact, you know, as a Muslim woman, we get dowry to get married. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when women talk about what a man has to have in order to have them, I mean, like, that in my religion is my God-given right to say I want X, Y, and Z if you want me. So I talk about that in my music. The world will call it gold digging or, you know, being a hoe because you selling it. And I'm like, well, ain't nobody selling it. It's not like that. But God says that if you want to marry a woman, you have to give her something that is hers. Rather it's paying for her to go to college, rather it's a house, a car, something that is in her name. When I got married, I own my apartment in Manhattan because he put the down on that property in my name and my name only. You know what I mean? So these are things that, I talk about. It's nothing wrong with a woman saying you got to have this, that, and the third to mess with me or to have standards. And it's also okay for you to say, like, I require this out of my friends. Like, I had to learn that I can't even be friends with women who are comfortable with dating certain things, sleeping with certain types of men, and being treated a certain kind of way, because I don't need that negative energy coming over here.
Correct.
I don't need it.
Because you're a reflection of your friends and who you hang around.
Sometimes, yeah. Like, I have friends who live completely different lifestyles than I do, right? Like, there was people who always say, like, how is it that you and Steph G are so close? You guys are like apples and oranges. I'm like, no, actually, we're very much alike.
I was just gonna say, as much as I know you guys, right? Even though we're not like as close as you and Steph is, but when you're together, you can see like you're bonding. That's some genuine shit, right?
Right.
Because
it's not
of the
industry.
personality and.
It's not industry. Like, wake up, call me, like da 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 da. Reference tracks, we sending each other like stuff we sending back and forth. I like this person for you. I like this producer for you. Like, we go back and forth. We share a lot of different things, and we have a very similar personal life that is not on the internet or maybe just in close friends. People don't know that because, again, it's industry. They feel like, oh, you dress like this and she dressed like that. First of all, Steph is very much a lady, very much, you know what I'm saying? Like, but people in her comment section over there, oh, you're always shaking your behind, or why you always hang. I get this too. Like, as a Muslim woman, why you always hang out with these type of girls? Why you don't hang out with more Muslim women? And I might say, well, unfortunately, some of those women don't reflect some of the things I got going on in my personal life.
Just because of your faith and religion, that doesn't define you as a person.
At all.
You know?
That's like telling Christians that you should only hang out with people that go to your church.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds insane.
Yeah.
Like, why would you would never say that to a Christian? But for some reason, although Muslims get ridiculed in the media the most, they have the highest standards for us. You know what I mean? Like, the highest expectations for us.
And my thing is, you know how there's this thing, especially in the industry in New York, that everybody wanna be Muslim all of a sudden. And, oh, I'm gonna be Muslim.
Only during Ramadan.
I be hearing that more and more, like, outside of Ramadan as well. Like, they get out of prison and, oh, I'm gonna be Muslim, or, oh, I'm sick of this. I'm gonna be. What do you think about that? You think it's genuine?
I think that people gotta stop worrying about if it's genuine, because I'm for anything that persons feel like they need to do to better themselves. You know what I mean? If you feel like you're Muslim, but you still struggle with alcohol, and maybe you're not an alcoholic, but you still like to go out and drink with your friends sometimes, right? That does not negate your Islam. It doesn't mean you're not Muslim, because, like, I know famous rappers that are Muslim and they still drink. It's not okay, but that's their struggle. That's their trial. There's people who are practicing Muslims, but they still fornicate. And that's a big sin. You know what I mean? Even in the Christian faith, Jewish faith, those are sins. But that doesn't mean you're not Muslim. The only thing that negates a person in Islam is when you say, La ilaha illallah, that I bear witness there is no God but Allah. And then all of a sudden you start saying somebody else's God other than God. That is the only thing that really, truly negates your Islam. That's the reason why, in the Quran, it talks about Abrahamic faiths, people of the book. Christians, Jews, and Muslims, we consider all of them people of the book, essentially oh my God, I can never say this word. You believe in one God. Essentially, those faiths at the root. Now, are there sects of Christianity that believe in more than one God? Yeah, because they believe in, like, Trinities, 3 is 1, all that kind of stuff. But essentially, the only thing that negates a person in Islam is setting up partners against him. And there are big sins like killing other Muslims, but you see that happen in Philly every day. And these are not rappers and all this kind of stuff. These are people that are Muslims that are from a destitute place. Respectfully, you go through Philly, it looks like Baghdad. Like, it looks like a third world country. Yeah. And they will pray at the same masjid and murk you outside. So we're not going to act as if it's not any different than anywhere else. It's no different than people talk about black on black crime. Well, guess what? White on white crime is more prevalent than any other crime. But why is it that we pay attention to the faults of a person when they're trying to better themselves? So if someone says that I'm Muslim now and I want to be Muslim and I don't eat pork no more, okay, that's a step up. That's better. It's not just for God. It's for you. It's for your health. I tell people all the time, everything you do in Islam we think that it's a commandment, but it's for you. We have 5 prayers a day, right? Those 5 prayers a day, yeah, okay, God wants to be praised, but it's really for you. Because when you're God conscious, it stops you from doing certain things. The positions of prayer, I always can tell when a person is actively on their prayers because of their mobility. The positions of prayer and stuff like that, it stretches you out. It relieves pressure from your back. There's a prostration that, alleviates certain like headaches, and, there's a reason why we're in certain positions during prayer. So if you're on your deen and you're on your prayers, you're not going to have certain ailments. You're not going to be stiff. You're not going to be walking with a cane at 50, 60 years old. You're not going to be, doing a lot of the ailments that people have is not going to be prevalent in a true practicing Muslim because of their mobility from prayers, because the diet that it encourages. Like when I see Muslims that are super overweight, obese and stuff like that, you're not really on your deen.
Right.
Because the reality is, first of all, if you want to talk about Sunnah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, he said, eat just enough to keep your back straight. That's 1 meal a day, essentially. Many days he ate 1 meal a day. So if you're eating 1 full meal a day, 1 balanced meal a day, he didn't eat meat every single day. Meat was like a treat. It was like parties, gatherings, Eids, slaughters. These were not everyday things. So when I was like vegan or, vegetarian, people make it seem like it's such a, funny thing to do. But no, it's not. Eating meat has always been considered a luxury. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when we talk about Islam, it's a lifestyle. It's things that you implement into your life. And every little bit that you want to implement into your life as a Muslim, I'm here for it. So rather it's genuine and you want to be a perfect Muslim that's striving and, clean up your speech, clean up the profanity use, clean up the drug use. Or if you just want to take, and I'm not saying it's okay to just take from it what you want, but if you're using this as a tool to form a better relationship with God and to improve yourself, I'm for it. So I don't care if it's a trend. I'm for anybody who believes in that one God and want to serve him and they want to better themselves. Not eating pork is for you. It's toxic. There's worms. There's so many bad things about eating that stuff.
I love how passionately you speak about it because the fact that you are in the music industry and you're a public figure and you gotta like uphold a certain image and stuff, you are still sticking to your values and like what you prioritize in life,
Absolutely.
When you first entered the industry, how was it like trying to align everything? And like I know how females are being treated and over sexualized and you gotta do this if you wanna get ahead. And what was your experience?
It still goes on. Don't get it twisted. Like, it helps being like this, but men are men. They're still going to try their luck. They're still going to see what's up. Sometimes. It doesn't happen to me that often. I'm fortunate that I'm blessed that, for the most part, I can friend zone everybody and they respect the friend zone. Feel me? And I'm comfortable with having to pay to play. A lot of times when you want something free, you pay in other ways. So for me, what's the number? And if it's either I got it or I don't. And if I don't have it, then when I do, I can circle back or I could just find other avenues. I'm okay. Like that goes back to what I said earlier. I'm okay with being on my own freeway. You know what I mean? Like I've been put in a position where I'm artist, I'm media, I'm talent. And for real, I can create my own ecosystem to do what I need to do. And I don't necessarily need the validation that I feel like some artists do need. Some of the features that would help other people will probably make me look silly. Because why? You know what I mean? So, and that's something I also had to learn, that I couldn't do the same things that others were doing. And it was a hindrance because just because I'm Muslim doesn't mean I don't like doing certain things. I like standing on couches. Like, feel me? Right. Like, I like doing that. I like turning it up a little bit. Maybe like an hour. I don't stay all night. But like, I like that. But then there's other things that I do, but time and place. Everything's not for public consumption. I tell women, like back in the day, there was a time period where men would excuse themselves if they cursed in front of a lady. There's a lady present. You know what I mean? I try to be the reminder that there's a lady present, right? That doesn't mean that I've never cursed or that I don't use profanity, but I don't need to talk like that. I don't need people to know that of me. You know, in Islam, we have a saying that says, cover your faults. So if I was the biggest, you know, if I spoke like a sailor, I don't need to do that on this podcast. I don't need to do that and make that a part of who I am. It's not a part of who I am. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's an ugly flaw that I should, you know, I should want to rectify. And I think that we're in a time where too many people are comfortable with their flaws and they're so flamboyant with it, like, oh, well, that's just who I am. That's how I am. No, that is not who you are. That's how you are. And it's because you choose to be that way and you choose not to better yourself. Because the more articulate you are, the more you open yourself to brand deals. Remember Cardi B and Love and Hip Hop where she was trying to take etiquette classes? And it was really important that she had to begin articulating herself for some of her brand deals. You know what I mean? So I think people just have to understand time and place.
That's so important that you said that. Have you ever felt excluded or just looked at differently because of your values or
all
people assuming that you are somebody that you're not?
All the time. Like, I don't like, because I choose to wear clothes or whatever, people try to tell me, like, for instance, if I wear, there's times where sometimes I may wear a shorter dress, but I have boots that come up to my knees and da-da-da-da. That's not traditional Islamic attire, right? People say, oh, you might as well just take your scarf off, like take your hijab off. I'm like, first of all, I barely ever wear traditional hijab. I'm a head wrap girly. But imagine you telling me that I should expose a part of me that I don't wish to share because you feel like I'm not covering traditionally the way you think I should. Like, that makes no sense. So you're saying I should fall further into nudity, is what you're saying?
And who am I to tell you who to be, you know?
Or how to dress or whatever. It's just ridiculous. So for me personally, I think people should just mind their business and live their life. You know what I'm saying? And if anything, keep watching and just take notes. Because I'm always gonna come with a lesson. Always.
And they are always taking notes, you know, even if they are not, because they're gonna hate. That's how you know they are taking notes, because they're just going to be hating.
They're going to take notes. They're going to pull up on you. They're going to say things. They're going to create the fake accounts to leave comments. I get comments all the time on my YouTube on different places. Oh, fake Muslim this. And, you know, but again, that goes back to what I said before. There's no such thing as a fake Muslim unless you are somebody that just pretends to believe a certain way and you don't. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, that is the only way I consider somebody like a fake Muslim. If you don't believe in God, but you claim to be a Muslim because you just want to be down. Like, no. People go to jail. They become Muslim for protection. That's a fake Muslim. But if it actually penetrates your heart, because think of it like this. Malcolm X became, you know, a part of the Nation of Islam behind bars. He was a cokehead. No, people forget that. He was a cokehead that an alcoholic. Let's not forget that. So when people talk about, oh, they went to jail and became Muslim, one of the most prolific men of American history became Muslim behind bars. So you cannot judge people who go to jail and become Muslim and say it's not genuine. Was Malcolm X not genuine because of the location that he found Islam? Absolutely not. So I think that we just all should just mind our business and take notes.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you can take something away from everybody's journey. Whether it's something that affects you positively or negatively, or you just stay neutral about it. Like, okay, I like this or I don't agree with this because of this. And let me implement certain things of those, you know, or do those things the other way around and stuff. Yeah. So I like how in tune you are.
I think one of the most important things when it comes to, like, you know, going back to like the Ramadan album, people always try to put me in a box and would say, oh, this is a Muslim artist, a Muslim rapper. So initially, when I thought about I'm like, all right, y'all want to call me a Muslim artist? All right, the Ramadan album then. Let me give the people what it is that they claim that I am and see how well it does and see how well supported it is. And to my surprise, a lot of people tapped in with it. A lot of non-Muslims. I remember I was going into somebody's birthday party afterwards, and this girl was like, yo, Lish, the Ramadan album was good. Like I needed that. And I was like, that made me feel like, okay, good. It didn't fall on deaf ears. But I also reminded them, like, Mariah Carey is not considered a Christian artist just because she dominates Christmas season. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? Let me let Ramadan be a time and an avenue that I can dominate. And slowly but surely, like, I'm doing that. You know, I do a lot of interviews, international interviews during Ramadan and stuff like that, and it works. No one, and you know how many Africans tell me they don't know artists, Africans that are Muslim. They have Muslim artists, Afrobeat artists. They be like, yo, I don't know no one who's doing what you're doing that still covers and dress the way you do. In Africa, where it's normal to cover your hair. Christians cover their hair. Everybody does it. You know what I'm saying? So when I get messages like that from people across the ocean telling me that, I be like, all right, I'm onto something. Let me put the pedal to the metal real quick and figure this out.
Does that mean that we could expect a Ramadan 2 album? Is that something that moved you in a certain way that you're open to it?
I'm open to it, but I feel like the same way Christmas is Mariah Carey season, she's not doing new Christmas albums.
Right,
we
just have that one song.
We got no, actually there's a few of those songs, but there's one that's really popping. Right. And I think that as my brand grows with popularity, I'll be able to push what I already have. Because what myself and my producer, Ali the Great, has created with the Ramadan album and the Ramadan album Reloaded, because I did actually do a sequel to it, where I just added 3 new tracks to the existing album, and I just took away the spoken word tracks. I think that what Ali and I created is something very unique, and I don't want to touch that. But I do feel like I could market it better and continue marketing it and grow, you know, it into a timepiece. That is more of my focus than trying to just put out more and new.
Yeah.
You know, Lauryn Hill is a great example of somebody who has one good album, and she still tours the globe from that one good album. She was just brought out last night. Kanye West brought her out last night. And it was the fame of that one good album. Solo album, that is. You know, she also had the Fugees and stuff like that. But I'm just telling you, when I drop this EP, it's going to be something that I feel like it was a sound that was long overdue for me. It's very pop, it's very hip-hop, it's very diva, it's very,
I'm really excited for it because you have so many different faces, like multifaceted for real, that goes beyond the music, you know?
Yeah.
So to see different sides or different sounds from you within music alone just shows that, okay, I am Lish 2 times, but this is who I am. And, you know, and that speaks volumes, you know? So that's really like the personality, like who you are is from within. And you definitely show that and reflects through your music. So.
Most people are multifaceted, though. It's just that they don't always have the confidence to pull a trigger on different things. Like you, like you're a host, you have a talk show, your own talk show, you help with Still Got the Juice.
Still Got the Juice.
You help with Still Got the Juice. You were managing artists.
Yeah,
like
modeling,
so. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is a lot of people are multifaceted. They just don't hone their business. They don't own it, and they're not confident to really say, I'm this and I'm that. I'm a music artist and a media personality, and I'm a journalist because, like, I went to college. I can speak with word noun agreement, and I understand grammar. Like, why do I have to pick one?
And you don't. And that's what a lot of people think. What you said, they are scared of really being authentically themselves and spreading their wings wide. And I feel like, especially in this generation, there's this thing of like, oh, if I started off doing a podcast, I have to stick with this forever. And who's going to tell me that I can do this and 10 other things? Because if I'm good at everything, I'm going to collect all those bags and I'm going to go after everything. You know?
Everything. The sky is the limit. You just really have to believe in yourself, and you have to get people around you that believe in you too. You cannot have people with the passive aggressive jokes that, you know, say, oh, you doing this again, or that downplay what you got going on, but they want to spend money and go to concerts to see other people that they believe in. You get what I'm saying? Like, you really gotta, like, one of the things that I had to learn is that if you don't believe in me, we are not friends.
I'm so quick to cut those people off. Because they be joking, you know, like, oh, how is your Lil music career going? That shit ain't Lil. don't say it, like, drop that word. How is your music career going?
Right. Because the thing about it is the same people that say that, they want to be in the rooms that you're in, and they wonder why they don't get those invites. It's like, why would I invite somebody that forgets the fact that, like, I'm her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to understand that you are really her or him. And you have to keep people around you that believe that you are her or him.
Or them.
Or them.
Yeah.
Whatever is clever, whatever floats your boat. And the thing about it is, you got to make sure nobody's trying to pull holes in your boat while you're trying to float too. Because, you know, I have this song that I'm going to drop on this EP that's called Very Shady. And it goes, you know, it goes in harmony to, like, what we say, we talk about how people are just very shady. And sometimes they don't even mean to be. And this is why, like, I give people a lot of grace. They don't even know they're being shady. They may feel like it's just their personality to do certain things, because people joke when they're uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
They don't know what to say. Sometimes they don't even mean malice, because it's something that's in their subconscious that's so reflecting on their own insecurities. So when I say something like, you know, girl trips, dinner in my home, very shady. They compliment but hating all along. It be the closest to you ringing those alarms. I'd be like, what the is going on? Because it's like, you don't even understand why they feel that way about you. But a lot of times it's because of how they feel about themselves. So get people around you that's, like, super ambitious.
Yeah.
Like, going back to, like, why my relationship with certain people are, you know, it is the way it is because we so ambitious, we so locked in, we're so focused. And on days when one isn't super focused, we pushing each other.
Yeah, just...
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have people around you that, and they don't need to be in the same industry. Artists got to stop thinking that they want to hang out with all the other cool artists. They're not going to support you. In fact, it becomes sometimes weird competition, especially if y'all do the same thing. Get you somebody that's in finance that want to become the VP of their department or something. Yeah. Get you somebody that's, you know, in different fields that is just super ambitious. Maybe they're entrepreneurs. Maybe they developed an app. You got to have people around you that do different things that are ambitious. Let me tell you, on a flight, I sat next to the president of the Tory Burch Foundation. And I didn't even know who she was when I sat next to her. But I remember she pulled out a book and started reading. It made me turn off the freaking series I was watching and pull out a book I've been carrying with me for like a month. And I started reading because of her. And it made me realize, like, see, this is the type of energy I need to be around. And then she finished her book towards the end of the flight. And I had to tell her, like, I introduced myself to her and I had to tell her, like, you know, you really inspired me to, like, pull out my book and read. And she goes, you know, and I asked her, because I saw one of the chapters in her book, I was like, you know, is it this book? Because I saw this chapter. She goes, no, it's actually this, but it has a lot of the same principles in it. And she goes, here, take it. And I was like, wow. I was like, no. And she was like, no, I'm finished with it. Just take it. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, if I'm going to take your book, then can you at least write in it for me so I could, commemorate this moment? She wrote in it, and of course she signed her name. And I'm going to look up her name. And I look up her name on as president of Tory Burch Foundation, da-da-da. Beautiful, older Black woman. And I was just like, period.
That was meant to be, you know, like you sat next to her for a reason.
It was meant to freaking be. And because of her, like, I see certain things, like certain scholarships they give away, certain fellowships they have. Like, there's so many different things that as a woman that we can get into that is bigger than just whatever we say our craft is. You know what I mean? Like, so much bigger. One of the songs that I have on the project, and I am going to say this, is called L'Oreal. And I'm popping my stuff for L'Oreal. Why? Because I want that partnership. I want that check. And the moment I said that, somebody who does PR sent me the contact information of somebody who's in that department. So it's like, you got to say what it is you want.
You're manifesting it through
the words. You manifest it, and you got to keep in mind, like the scripture says, faith without works is dead. You got to really work towards that. I had to overcome being shy to even tell that girl, like, to tell her, like, yo, you really inspired me to crack open this book. Thank you.
Yeah.
And look who I met. And she signed a book for me. Like, you can't tell me nothing. So, yeah, I'll leave you with that.
That's so dope. And again, just back to you being multifaceted besides music, what you mentioned multiple times. Journalist, you have your own blog, right?
Witness by Lish.
Yes.
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 You know, the only witness list you want to be on, feel me?
I know. What inspired that? How did you start? Was that around the same time you started music, or it came because of all, I would assume, because of all the popping things that you be around, right?
Exactly that.
People want to see that.
I said that if I'm going to be outside, it has to make sense. Because it gets redundant after a while, right? So I said, if I'm going to be outside, I'm always at a red carpet. I get invited to movie premieres. I get invited to album releases, listening parties, all kinds of brand activations. If I'm going to be outside, it needs to make sense. And I need to gain access to more things that I really want to be around. And even though I'm a music artist, I don't want to go, and I rap, I don't want to be at a bunch of hip-hop events, respectfully.
It gets tired.
Rap artists, they unfortunately, the stigma is they show up late, super late to their own events. They don't respect people's time. They don't respect the media that's there for them. So it teaches me, being on the other side as media sometimes, how do I respect other people's time? Right? It's cool, and the interview's at 12:15. I'm going to show up like 12:30, 12:45, give them time to set up. No. If I want to be respected as a professional, I'm going to show up at 12:15. And these are things that I learned because of my blog. I learned as a journalist, and I started contributing to other platforms, Entertainment Now, like huge platforms like that I would have never had. And it's because of those relationships that I've forged and being able to publish on those sites why I get invited to major media days. I would have never gotten that interview with Clarissa Shields if I didn't have Witness by Lish.
Talk to me about that. How was that?
It was good. And the thing about it is, it means a lot when I get emails from Kalani's team asking me to go to their release, asking me for articles. Like, and it also helps me stand my ground. Like, and I told her, I said, I'm going to be real with you. I only write about events that I was personally at. And guess what? They did one in New York, and they invited me to that one.
I know, that's right.
So it was just like, dang. So to be invited by such big teams and like in those rooms, it opens more and more doors, because now I'm meeting not only my peers in media, I'm meeting the people that's running TMZ. I understand that as an artist, I need these contacts, right? But I don't want to be an artist asking for something. I want to be a media peer as well, respected. I met the dude that's always going viral, Jeremy. I met him at Revolt World or some type of music festival in Atlanta. You know what I mean? I didn't realize the relationships in media, how much they matter. Everyone's always trying to get to like a celebrity or an exec in a room. You need to be hollering at the media. They hold the power. So me stepping into media, I said I wanted a different level of power, a different level of leverage, and a different level of monetization of how to fund my music. I'm passionate about music, but I became passionate about journalism too, and it's something I didn't even know that I was passionate about. So being outside, as much as it became redundant, it became like a bridge of me finding other avenues, you know what I mean? Other ways of being professional and really growing as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, because as an independent artist, an independent, publication, and contributing to others, signing contracts, I'm an entrepreneur. So now I have to learn a different level of professionalism that I think that often comes too late for a lot of people. They don't realize it. And I'm happy and I'm honored to just be in a space that I get it now, while I'm still young.
So amazing.
Yeah.
And what I've experienced being in the music industry, not as an artist, but, whether it's artist management, media, or, working with platforms and such, artists are not always being respected at all. So for you to stand up for yourself as an artist, now doing media and being a female on top of that, like, okay, like, this is what I bring to the table and y'all gonna respect that. It's so important. And another thing that you said, artists are really not the key, because they are basically
employees.
Yes, of those higher ups that you don't know. You might hear their names, but you don't know how they look. You don't know who they are because they are just up there collecting the money and the checks, and you know what I'm saying. And that's where you gotta
for sure.
aim.
And I think that artists are great when you want to collaborate, you know, because you learn from other artists and other creatives. So I never want to say it's not important to have those relationships. It absolutely is. However, the focus, you know, as a journalist is when I'm with these artists, if I'm not collaborating with you, then I want to help tell your story. If I'm interested in you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't take interviews of people that I'm not interested in either. Like, I just don't anymore. Now, once in a while, like, somebody may come with, okay, what do you know, let's be real. A lot of media nowadays is not earned media, it's pay to play. And I'm not really fond of that because I believe that media should be earned. You should earn a place on certain platforms, right? I think it's very ingenuine to be able to pay to be on platforms. But I understand the fact that now that as a journalist, like, people do sometimes need to get paid for their work, especially if a platform is self-funded. So it's kind of like, you know, one of those situations that I think that, you know, we're all still learning and evolving of what the future of that industry really looks like.
Yeah. It kind of gives, like, you know, if you have money, you can buy your way into stuff.
You could buy your way in.
And that's the industry for the most part. Listen, if somebody wants to pay me to be on my platform, my thing is I would still look at what's your story, because my platform is about showcasing those people's stories. So the fact that you reached out to me, I might have not heard of you before, right? But you are still an interesting individual.
You're still valid.
You're still valid, you know, and your story is something that needs to be put out there. So, you know, I mean, sure, if you want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, cash at me. But at the end of the day, like, it goes beyond that. And, you know, that's why I say, like, money can buy happiness. And, you know, money is cool.
It buys access.
It buys access, but is it the type of access that you want? Or is it just, you know, you got to be careful with certain things, because we also know what, like, if you have money, you know, people will sacrifice who they are for money, and that's just,
and you become a target too, because, like, you know, I learned also that, like, my next manager and my next publicist, you know, I'll figure out who those persons will be before I drop, obviously, but it has to be someone that believes in you and really genuinely want to work with you, right? Because when people are working with you because of your ability to pay them to do PR, they're going to treat you like a paycheck, and they're not going to go hard for you. Management, if they don't respect you, they are not going to go hard for you. So money helps, but money can't pay genuine people to believe in you, to grind for you, to, like, they gotta believe that you are really that girl, and they gotta want to see you win like they want to see themselves win. So money helps, but I pay people good money for them to do the bare minimum. So it's definitely a catch-22.
It's sad, but at the end of the day, listen, you gotta, you know, finesse is the name of the game sometimes.
Yes,
so.
Period.
And there's another thing I wanted to touch on, which it be on my mind lately, that New York is cool. I love New York City, don't get me wrong, but it can drain the life out of you, right? And I know that you be like on a little farm with animals and stuff. Sometimes I thought at first it was like kind of like a weekend type of thing for you, or just like whenever you want to, like, get away from the city, but you live somewhere where it's more nature, right?
I live on a ranch.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 64 acres and a bunch of horses and dogs and chickens and ducks and
it's so cool
geese.
To see, like, I'm like, okay, there's Lish, the artist that we know, and the media personality, and then there's you, like, with your horses. And
I love my horses. Oh my God, like, yes, I do. I'm really, you know, there's two sides to every person. Like, there's the public persona, and then there's the personal life, right? And, you know, as a woman that have built a life off the screen, I enjoy that. So it may seem like it's taking me longer to drop, or like I'm not in a mix, or like, no, I'm just actively living life, because peace of mind is so important.
Yeah.
Grounding is so important. Taking care of yourself is important. Like when I'm in New York, I'm gonna go. I'm running into delis and stuff like that. When I'm home in Texas, I'm cooking from scratch. I'm cooking my soups from scratch. I'm baking my bread from scratch.
With your own eggs from your own chicken.
With my own eggs from my own chickens. Feel me? So it's just a different world. Like I even just recently started planting random stuff around to see what grows. Like I started planting garlic. I put some bell pepper seeds around. I planted a few avocado trees. I planted some date trees. I planted, like, I'm just going to see what happens. I don't know if it's going to, work out, but, God willing, I got, oh, dang, and let me call these people, because I'm in New York and I know that nobody watered my lavender.
Oh.
So, yeah, so it's just one of those simple things that COVID really opened my eyes of how, the supermarket shelves were, bare, right? Gas prices are going up, so the cost of food is going to go up because the trucks is what delivers it. Mm-hmm. So we have to learn how can we be somewhat self-sufficient.
You have to.
And I never grew anything the 4 years that we've been on this ranch. It'll be 5 years actually this summer. And I just recently said, I want to grow something. I want to do more with the property other than just have a bunch of pets that is draining us. Respectfully, it's expensive feeding horses.
I'm scared of horses, so I wouldn't know. But I only been on a horse one time.
Horses, they are so lovely.
I was on. It was like somebody's 7th birthday party back in the days, right? And we went to this farm type of vibe with horses. So there was ponies, horseback riding, cool. So I get on one of the horses, and that poor thing got scared of a chicken and just threw me off its back. I was like, oh no, thank you, nope. I'm good.
See, that is very rare. You got to keep in mind, too, my horses have a lot of land to roam on and stuff. I feel like horses that get startled are the ones that are kept in those barns a lot. Not even that. That's even better than a lot of horses that are being stables. They're kept in these holding things.
And that's it.
A lot. And they get let out to get their exercise and stuff. But yeah, they're startled because their world is so small. My horses exist they hear dogs barking. They see. We have one random wild turkey. We have cows that they coexist with. So they understand that coyotes pop out at night. You know what I mean? But our horses are very docile. We just hosted our family gathering, and we had a bunch of people come, and the horses were just walking around, free roam. And they don't get startled like that. They're really giant, gentle beasts. I have 2 Clydesdales and 2 Belgians or 2 Germans. And no, I'm lying. They died.
Oh.
Sorry. 2 of my horses passed away. I have 2 Tennessee Walkers, 2 Clydesdales, and 1 half-breed, Miracle, because her mom passed away. She was a German Clydesdale mix. Miracle is a Clydesdale German mix, but the mom passed away just maybe 2 months or something after giving birth, unfortunately. Not even 6 weeks after, so she got to breastfeed a little bit, but horses are super intelligent. You just gotta be really stern with them when you want to ride, because they have a mind of their own.
Man, yeah. I be seeing reels sometimes on YouTube and stuff, and I'm like, okay, they're cute and stuff. They seem so friendly at times, but I know they can also kick the shit out of you.
They can, but it's a rule of you don't walk behind a horse.
You
never walk behind a horse.
You don't trigger an animal like that.
You never walk behind a horse, because you got to keep in mind those are preyed animals. They're docile. So if they were in the wild, and a horse is in the wild, someone come behind you, you don't know what it is. So naturally, their reflex is to kick, and their kick is so quick that there is
fatal,
no blocking.
No? I'm pretty sure.
It can be to a child, it's fatal, but it depends on where it lands. But a horse kick, I don't know. I've never been kicked by a horse.
Yeah, that's not even because
my man was kicked in the leg, and it hurt, but he got over it.
I mean, it sounds like perfect work-life balance at the end of the day for you. Being on a ranch and then, Lish, the popping fly artist, and just seeing you through this lens of, well, we experience it because we live it, but for others it's just such a glamorous lifestyle, which I know that's not all to it, but you know.
Yeah, I think that what is important is people got to understand that you work, but you also have to think, what do you work for? Like, do you not want a family? Do you not want to have a personal life? So it's like at some point you can't be a city girl. At some point you got to be a lover girl.
You got to retire that.
At some point you have to be intentional. This is why I say, like, when I'm not in rap girl mode, I'm not hanging out at no hood, nothing. I don't go eat in the hood. I don't hang out in the hood. I don't hang out with hood people. I'm always on the Upper East Side, or I go to like Lucienne. I go to fly places. I'm at Ivor. I go to places that the people I want to be friends with frequent.
Those VPs and those.
I go to places where the people who have the bank accounts that I want to have are.
Amen.
Because those are who I want my peers to be. Where would I ever cross paths? And I'm not telling people to spend their last, but I sat next to the, president of the Tory Burch Foundation because I spent an extra $300 to fly in first class in Delta. And I'm not saying if you don't got it to do that, but I fly first class because, number one, sometimes the flights just be mad long. But number two, because I don't deal with certain things. Like, I think that sometimes we, as I say middle class people, we operate in a scarcity mindset, right?
Yeah.
We don't always operate like entrepreneurs. So if I'm traveling somewhere and I know that it's going to cost me $50 to check a bag, if I'm checking 2 bags, maybe $50 per bag, right? That's $100. I know that and I'm just saying, there's a $300 difference for this particular flight to Atlanta for first class. If I fly first class, both my bags are free, right? So I'm like offsetting the cost.
That's already only $200 extra.
So now it's $200 extra, right? If you're a single woman, presuming that you are, and you're European, so that widens your scope even more. Girl, the guys that's flying first class, a lot of times they don't always book their own travel. They got assistants, they got firms, they're lawyers, they're professional people. That's what your future husband is. My sister used to be a flight attendant, and she said that there was no shortage of them on her flights. They would try to take her out, whatever the case may be. But she's one of those like loyal to the black race type of girls. Like, she only dates black men, and I respected it, right? But at that time period, but the accountants, all type of people, a lot of times, like, they're in first class. And even if they didn't pay for the first class ticket, there's someone who flies a lot, so they got upgraded to first class. Why are they flying a lot? What business are they in? You know what I mean? I met another lady who, when we were boarding, she's an attorney and her daughter is going off to college, right? They were flying first class. Okay. I asked her, what kind of law do you practice? What are you into? She wanted to get my information just because I was talking to her daughter about colleges. Oh, you want to be an interior designer? I graduated from FIT. I'm talking to her about how great the program is there and how great their alumni association is. And her mom wants to connect with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had no need for the type of law that she practiced today, but I don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now. That's a contact that I have, and she met me in a respectable manner. People don't realize that it's not only who you meet, it's where you meet them, how you meet them. All these type of things contribute to your network.
Yeah. If
I run into her again at maybe a gala in the future, she'll remember me from the Delta flight. She'll remember me from whatever. I don't ever want to be the person that she knows me from being at some club standing on a couch. I don't want her to know me from, I don't know, being a bodega baddie, respectfully. You know what I mean? Like, no, I want you to know me from a respectable manner. I always tell people, don't go through the airports in like pajamas, bonnets, no coof, respectfully. Oh, I come through the airport however I want, how I am. No, that mentality is why you are how you are. Mm-hmm. I always go through the airport. I may not always put on a full face, but I always go through the airport polished because you just never know.
Correct.
And I know because I'm in like a super hyper ambitious phase of my life. And any and everybody that I meet, anybody that I'm in association with, they have to be functioning at a high level, equal or better than.
That's why I love talking to you, because of your mindset. But that's one of the reasons, right?
Thank you.
You just know what you want for yourself. You stand firm on that, and you really represent that. And it's coming from a genuine place because of what you want for yourself, not what you said in the beginning, that how some people look at it as like a gold digger type. Because why are you a gold digger? Because are your standards high?
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
That's what I represent,
Yeah.
and that's what I bring to the table. And I want my man to be on the same type of timing that I'm on.
You feel me? That's extremely important. I tell girls all the time, just because you live in a hood don't mean you got to date there. You talk about wanting to break generational curse, but yet you're dating the same kind of men that broke your mom's heart. You're dating the same kind of men that you're attracted to, that respectfully the dad that never raised you was, or the dad that, you know, was in and out of jail did, or, you know what I mean, maybe he was a good dad and he was there for you and everything like that, but you still grew up impoverished. If you want to break generational curse, you have to change everything about what you were exposed to, the type of man that you're attracted to, the environment that you hang out in. I swear to beans, you could be from Brownsville, Brooklyn. Do not date there.
Right.
The guys walking down the street, be polite, say hello. That's your hood, that's your community. Love them from afar.
Yeah, because that's a mindset thing at the end of the day. People be like, well, this is where I'm from, this is what I know, this is... I disagree.
Yeah, like you didn't want to become a baby mom, but you became a baby mom because you dated a man that doesn't even believe in marriage. Or maybe he believes in marriage, but he didn't even think to marry you because, I don't know, his mama was a baby mama.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so, and it's nothing to say like that means he's not a good person. Because he probably actually is. He just probably needed guidance and mentorship. But you, as a lady, should not be raising no man. He got to come assembled. This is not no Bob the Builder. This ain't no Build-A-Bear workshop. Let him come assembled. And whatever it is that you add and contribute to that, great. But stop dating and attracting the same thing that you claim you want to get away from.
Yeah.
And that goes for friends too, because we date each other. Friends date each other. We go out to eat. We hang out, right? What kind of conversations are we going to have? Like, what we talking about? For real?
I know that's
And
right.
what kind of men are we attracting together?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to attract pookies together. I don't want to attract no tight wallet having together. Like, no, I don't want that for my life, and I don't want that for you either. So, respectfully, yeah, mindset is everything. And this is not something that I woke up with, you know, or I grew up with per se. Like, I grew up very sheltered, you know what I mean? Like, but I had to still learn so many things for myself. I was not taught certain things. Even though I had great examples. I had a great mother, you know what I mean? I had a father who was good too. They were divorced. My dad lived in Long Island, my mom, and we were back and forth from New York to Maryland most of my adolescence. But there's a lot of things that we as parents, we forget to tell our children. We don't guide our children when it comes to dating when they're young. We tell them not to do it, and they sneak.
Yeah.
We don't tell them what to look for. We don't demand that young man come knock on your door and meet you anymore. I want to know about your family. Where do you come from? I'm not going to judge you if you don't have a dad, but I need to understand that you are coachable. And where's your mindset? Why are you sleeping with my daughter? What's your intentions? You just chilling? Well, if you get her pregnant, you still going to be just chilling, or are you going to be on to the next girl? Like, these are conversations that we're not comfortable having.
And we should. We
And
should. Because it's life. And you are not a victim of your environment, because you have the free will to do better and break out of that. And, well, I know what I want for myself. Okay, then create that for yourself and work for it and make sure that, okay, cool, you might make the mistake. You might make the mistake again, but then learn from it and make sure you do better tomorrow.
Yep, because I get sick and tired of it. New Yorkers have the least... They have the most excuses, but the least reason to have excuses. Because you have access to Billionaires Row from a train stop. A $3 fare. You can't afford to go to Cipriani's or Avra? Go have an appetizer. You can't afford to
walk
be there.
Around on the
walk
Upper East Side, because you don't even gotta go nowhere.
I walk around my neighborhood all the time. Let me tell you something. I used to live, when I was living on 86th and 1st, there's this diner called Gracie's Diner. I had a roommate who would get messed up, super white girl, wasted. We used to have a spare key at the diner for her.
Wow.
And me, because, you know, I, like, at the time, like, you know, careless, leave my bag in the back of a taxi, whatever the case may be. But I still go, the diner moved locations, and I went there yesterday, and I didn't even know the owner was at the next table, because I never really met the owner. I always knew the managers, whatever. I used to eat there so much, you would think I didn't have a kitchen. But the people that are eating at Gracie's Diner are usually locals that live in that area. So if I end up in a conversation with the girl at the table next to me, and just something as casual as, oh, you in entertainment too? No, I'm actually in marketing or whatever. I was like, okay, well, I'm a journalist. Oh, you're a journalist? Well, I work for Industry Dive, and we're always hiring journalists. And in fact, I'm really jealous of how much they pay the journalists. It's that simple. But that would not have happened at the diner in Brownsville or in you know, I don't know the Bronx that well to speak on to say a neighborhood, but like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have happened. It doesn't happen. So I tell people all the time, like, it doesn't even have to be fancy. I was at Gracie's Diner, a neighborhood spot. The owner introduced himself to me. And, you know, I told him, like, I used to be here. I know Tony, I know all these people here. Like, I know his staff. They respect that. You come, you patronize. The owners are serving you now. Now the owners are introducing themselves. Now they know you. Now, next time I see them, I want to know what other businesses they're into. Because I don't own a freaking popular, well-to-do 24-hour diner. How'd you get your money to be able to, and I know they moved like 3 times in the last 5 years. I want to know what you got going on outside of this place. I want to know you. I want to know your wife. Like, that is how you build your networks. Yeah. And that is how you really get ahead. You know what I mean? I take phone calls sometimes that I can't even believe. And I'm like, wow. Going to the Hamptons and doing like, and I'd be like, I can't even believe that I'm even a part of this conversation. They're asking me to connect them with someone like me. 10 years ago, that wouldn't have been happen. It wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? Like, we don't, just because we grow up, even those of us who grew up with parents that are upper middle class and they work hard, we have to learn this.
Yeah.
We got to learn to really take our fate into our own hands.
And it's a lot of unlearning and relearning because of what you bring with you from childhood, what you've been exposed to. But then when, hopefully it's not to the point where like, okay, I have enough and now I gotta change it, but because you already wanna do better, you know. But even if it comes to that just threshold that you can't take it no more, you always have the option to, you know, evolve and do better and take Lish's advice and, you know.
Period. Mm-hmm. Listen, do better. Like, every day, even when I'm feeling the lowest, I always think about, like, what can I be doing better?
Yeah.
Always. Always, always, always.
And that alone will make you stand out and put you ahead of most because the mindset that you have. So
thank you.
I love it. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to the EP for sure.
Thank you.
When did you say you're dropping that again?
This summer. Okay. I didn't really say a date because initially I wanted to do a June release. But I don't know. There's so much going on in June. I want to go to LA. I have 2 trips to LA in June. I have a lot I want to do in June. So in my head, I'm trying to think, should it be out already when I do these trips? Or should I wait until July, until all of that moving around is done?
But you said it's going to have like a little pop vibe. It's pop, so it might be a little like summer. Maybe summer. I feel like summer is. You know how they say it's going to be the new 2016 summer type of stuff this summer? So
I might need to drop it in June then. I don't know. I'm not going to overthink this one though. Like, I'm literally going to drop it. It's just more so about, you know, I really just want to have the right marketing budget. And I don't want to lose any opportunity to like get certain collabs, and I'm striving to go crazy. So it'd be a lot easier if I had a good solid team right now, then I'd probably have all my dates laid out, everything.
Girl, that's a whole different conversation.
You know what I'm saying? But for another day. But just know the EP is coming. It consists of 4 songs, Very Shady, Covered Girl, L'Oreal, and Retail Girl. Listen, it's going to inspire you to want to work out. It's going to inspire you to want to go shopping. It's going to want to inspire you to just level up and just be that girl. And it's also going to inspire you to shed a lot of dead weight. Okay?
And that's okay because that's that's what comes with it. So
Yeah.
I'm already subscribed to all your sites and platforms,
that.
and I'm on the lookout for the new music and everything that you have in store. So thank you for pulling up.
Shout out to my sis who's valid with an accent. Period.
Thank you, Lish.
Putting Hungary on a map. Stop playing.
Type shit. Yeah, we like this more, but we on there.
Yeah. Period.
Thank you so much.